Sword Immortal Journey. Chapter 1 The Adventure of Luyun Mountain. In the depths of Luyun Mountain, clouds and mist swirled, and on the top of the mountain, a young man was practicing swordsmanship on a boulder. His name is Han Jing, 17 years old, with arrogance and perseverance in his eyes. Han Jing's swordsmanship was surprisingly victorious, and the wind drawn by each sword was like thunder, but it also had a strange glow light. On this day, when he was practicing his swordsmanship, he suddenly heard a low call from the depths of the valley. Following the sound, he found an ancient cave with strange runes engraved on the entrance. Han Jing stepped into the cave, and in an instant, the shadow rolled, and a white-haired old man slowly emerged. You are destined to change the pattern of the world. The old man's voice was like the wind, but with an irresistible majesty. The old man handed a yellowed ancient book to Han Jing, and the pages automatically flipped, reflecting countless sword intents and martial arts secrets. Han Jing's heart was like a flame ignited, a power that had never been felt before surged in his body. Chapter 2 The sword energy is beginning to appear. Han Jing returned to the town at the foot of the mountain, and the sound of him practicing swordsmanship had already been heard in the town. When he was young, he tried his new swordsmanship, and his sword energy was like a rainbow, and even the bandits who attacked at night were shocked away. He smiled secretly in his heart. It turns out that the rivers and lakes can also determine life and death with a sword. Soon, Han Jing met a girl named Liu Yun in the town, who behaved neatly and was good at light skills and hidden weapons. Your swordsmanship is peculiar, but you lack softness and strength. Liu Yun's tone was ridiculous. The two hit it off, and from then on, there was an extra pair of partners who fought side by side on the road to the world. However, a group of mysterious assassins quietly appeared in the town, with black flame symbols embroidered on their robes and long swords shining with eerie black light. Han Jing and Liu Yun responded with sword energy and hidden weapons, and in an instant, the entire street of the town seemed to be illuminated by thunder, and the sword energy shook the blue tiles flying. Chapter 3 The Shadow of the Black Flame Alliance. These assassins come from the Black Flame Alliance, a mysterious and ferocious force in the world. The leader of the alliance is called Yan Ji, and in order to seek invincibility in the world, he secretly collects miraculous skills and rare treasures from all over the world. Han Jing and Liu Yun repelled the assassins, but also learned that they were being targeted by the Black Flame Alliance. At night, Han Jing sat alone on the top of the mountain, secretly vowing in his heart, the way of a chivalrous man is not only swordsmanship, but also protecting the innocent and upholding justice. He clenched his long sword and felt the sword intent in his body surging like a tide, as if the entire Luyun mountain was echoing his will. At this moment, light and shadow came from the ancient books in the cave, reflecting a voice, Han Jing, if you want to become a sword immortal, you must first pass through the 6 trials. The 6 trials are the trials of the highest level of martial arts and legends, each of which tests the body, mind, and spirit. Han Jing frowned, knowing that this road would be full of dangers, but he was not afraid. Chapter 4 Long Yuan Trial. Han Jing and Liu Yun went to Long Yuan, a secluded valley hidden in the depths of the Sea of Clouds. There was an ancient sword formation in the valley, the sword energy was like a waterfall, and every step was taken to withstand the earth-shattering sword intent. Han Jing integrated his whole body swordsmanship with his mind to dissolve the sword energy in the formation, and finally used the Falling Cloud Solitary Sword to smash the Soul Suppression Sword formation, take off the Soul Suppression token, and complete the first trial. However, the second trial is no match for human strength, the Ghost Maze. Every street and alley in the city reflects Han Jing's past and the deepest fears in his heart. He once accidentally injured a friend due to a misunderstanding, and he was lonely practicing swordsmanship alone in the mountains and fields. Han Jing closed his eyes and concentrated, turning the fear in his heart into sword energy, cutting off the illusion with a sword, and the lost city turned into light dust in an instant, and the second trial was successful. Chapter 5 Blood Moon Jianghu. On the night of the Blood Moon, the disciples of the Alliance raided major towns and looted treasures and martial arts secrets. Han Jing and Liu Yun tracked down the Blood Flame Palace where the Alliance leader Yan Ji lived. The fire in the palace was reflected, and the shadows of swords and flames were intertwined, as if they were in purgatory. Han Jing suppressed the flames with his sword energy, while Liu Yun repelled the enemy with hidden weapons. At the decisive moment, Yan Ji unleashed his black flame world-destroying sword technique, blazing wildly between heaven and earth. The sword energy and flames collided, shaking the mountains and rivers. Han Jing concentrated his mind, integrating the Falling Cloud Solitary Sword and Dragon Abyss Sword intention learned from ancient texts, and with a single strike, he shattered the Black Flame world-destroying sword technique. Yan Ji was defeated, the Black Flame Alliance collapsed, and the rivers and lakes were temporarily peaceful. Han Jing and Liu Yun stood under the blood moon, the sword light reflected the two of them, each other's eyes flashed with determination and bond. Chapter 6 The Conspiracy of Tianji Tower. Just when the rivers and lakes thought peace was coming, Han Jing received a secret letter from Tianji Tower. The owner Huan Chen manipulated the dark situation of the rivers and lakes and plotted to unify the martial arts. The TNG building is hidden at the top of the sky, and each floor has strange space rules and traps. Going upstairs is like stepping on a ladder, and going downstairs is like falling into a bottomless abyss. Han Jing and Liu Yun solve puzzles along the way, encountering moving stone statues, talking runes, and hidden shadow assassins. In the end, they faced the illusion. Huan Chen held the Tianluo Zhenqi sword, the sword light fell like a galaxy, and Han Jing and Liu Yun joined forces to fight. As the two sides reached a stalemate, Huan Chen used his telepathic magic to stir up fear in Han Jing, transforming him into a nameless lone swordman, with the Jianghu at risk. Han Jing suppressed his inner demons and used his mind to reverse the sword's will, finally knocking down the Tianluo Zhenqi sword. Huan Chen retreated, and Tianji Tower returned to neutrality. Chapter 7 The Feast of the Rivers and Lakes and the Arrival of the Sword Immortal. After enduring 6 trials and countless dangers, Han Jing finally stood atop Luyun Mountain, gazing out over the Jianghu. The Jianghu was no longer merely a place of swordplay, but also filled with the bonds of love and friendship. Liu Yun and Han Jing stood side by side, their sea of clouds swirling around them, as if the very heavens were shaking. One night, Han Jing practiced swordplay under the moon. His long sword transformed into a silver glow, its aura radiating across 10 miles, shocking the Jianghu community. Rumors spread that Luyun Mountain held a sword immortal, avenging vengeance with delight, roaming the world, his name a hero forever etched in his memory. Han Jing slowly put away his sword, and the light in his eyes was like a galaxy. The way of a knight lies not only in the sword, but also in the heart. In the rivers and lakes, the legend of the sword immortal has just begun. Chapter 8 The Shadow of the Nether Valley. After Han Jing and Liu Yun returned from the TNG building, the rivers and lakes were temporarily calm. However, there was a vision in the Nether Valley near Luyun Mountain. If there was a ghostly fire floating in the middle of the night, a low sigh came from the forest. Villagers rumor that whenever there is a strange fire in the Netherworld Valley, strange people and strange things happen. Han Jing and Liu Yun decided to investigate. In the valley, the fog was so thick that it seemed to drip water, and as they stepped in, a vague figure suddenly appeared in the air, a young man in a black and purple robe, calling himself Shadow Trace. The Shadow Trace swordsmanship was strange, each sword was swung, and the afterimage surrounded the body 3 times. Han Jing and Liu Yun felt real pressure for the first time. Shadow Trace revealed that he was the guardian of Nether Valley and the incarnation of the spirit shadow left by the bloodline in his previous life. He warned Han Jing, the strange fire in the valley will awaken the ancient monster Night Soul, and if the Night Soul is born, the entire rivers and lakes will fall into endless darkness. Han Jing did not hesitate and went deep into the depths of the Nether Valley with Liu Yun to meet the unknown challenge. Chapter 9 The First Appearance of the Night Soul. In the depths of the Nether Valley, strange fires burned the trees like blood, and ghostly creatures appeared in the fog, Night Souls. Night Souls can mimic the fear deep in the human heart, turning illusions into entities and attacking the psychology and body of those who come. Han Jing fought the Night Soul for the first time and found that ordinary swordsmanship could not hurt the entity, and he had to transform the deepest fear in his heart into sword intent. Liu Yun used hidden weapons and light skills to help Han Jing fight against illusions, while Shadow Trace used nether swordsmanship to block the demonic energy outside the Night Soul. After 3 days and 3 nights of confrontation, Han Jing finally realized the heart and shadow unity swordsmanship, fused his own state of mind with the sword intent, cut through the illusion of the Night Soul, and dissipated it into ghostly light. Nether Valley returned to calm, and the shadow traces disappeared, leaving only a nether sword, symbolizing that Han Jing's new swordsmanship had entered the hall. Chapter 10 The Trial of Wind and Thunder City. Just as the people of the rivers and lakes were celebrating the calming of the Night Soul incident, news came from Wind and Thunder City in the distance. The city lord Qi Feng had been assassinated, and the city fell into chaos. Han Jing and Liu Yun rushed to Fenglei City and found that the mastermind behind the scenes was actually the crazy Thunder Hall that had been hidden on the edge of the rivers and lakes. In Wind and Thunder City, Han Jing fought against the power of thunder and lightning for the first time, and he found that although his previous swordsmanship was fast, it was difficult to resist the speed of Lei Yin. Liu Yun fought wits and courage with the disciples of the crazy Thunder Hall in the city, using secret passages and countermeasures to delay the enemy's actions. In a fierce battle with Night Rain, Han Jing finally combined the heart and shadow unity swordsmanship obtained in Nether Valley and the Falling Cloud solitary sword, coupled with the cooperation of Liu Yun, to defeat Lei Yin with a single move Thunder Broken Shadow, save the city lord Qi Feng, and also save the people in the city. Chapter 11 The Heroes of the Rivers and Lakes. After the war, heroes from all sides gathered to discuss the order and future trends of the rivers and lakes. Han Jing and Liu Yun were elected as representatives and met with various sects and heroes. During the meeting, a mysterious woman Yunkai appeared, who claimed to have mastered star swordsmanship and could manipulate light and shadow and temporarily reverse time. However, Yunkai's appearance caused unrest in the world, and some old forces regarded her as a threat and secretly planned to frame her. Han Jing and Liu Yun must distinguish the authenticity in this hero meeting to protect the rivers and lakes from chaos. At the climax of the Heroes Club, a vision suddenly appeared in the sky. The blood-red moonlight reflected the rivers and lakes, heralding a bigger storm to come. Han Jing knew that the real test was not over yet. Chapter 12 The Battle of the Blood Moon. Under the blood-red moonlight, the major sects of the rivers and lakes and the team led by Han Jing encountered the nether sky shadow from outside the sky, a group of mysterious swordsmen with blurred bodies and the ability to shuttle instantly. Han Jing and Liu Yun have gone through many battles, and the heroes of the rivers and lakes have also gathered light and shadow to attack, and the entire night sky is intertwined with sword energy, light and shadow, and thunder and lightning, forming a spectacular but deadly battlefield. Han Jing realized the heaven and earth resonance swordsmanship during the battle, which can temporarily turn the power of heaven and earth into sword intent, and he used it to subdue the leader of the netherworld Heavenly Shadow, and cooperated with Liu Yun to seal the Heavenly Shadow with light and shadow and sword energy, ending the Battle of the Blood Moon. At this moment, the rivers and lakes witnessed the birth of the true sword Immortal. Chapter 13 The sword Immortal arrives. After the battle between Nether Valley, Wind, and Thunder City and Blood Moon, Han Jing and Liu Yun finally returned to Luyun Mountain. At this time, he was not only a teenager, but also a sword immortal, a guardian of the rivers and lakes who could turn the sword into a sword with his mind and do justice with the sword. Han Jing fused the nether sword, the falling cloud solitary sword and the heart shadow sword to create a new swordsmanship called Vientian Sword Heart. This swordsmanship can change its moves according to the swordsman's state of mind, which can be as fast as lightning and as soft as flowing water, becoming a peerless skill in the rivers and lakes. Liu Yun used her wisdom and courage to protect Han Jing, and also passed on the adventures of Nether Valley and Wind and Thunder City to the new generation of disciples. Since then, there has been a legend in the rivers and lakes. The sword immortal on Luyun Mountain is happy to take revenge, crisscrossing the heavens and the earth, and the spirit of chivalry will never wither. Chapter 14 Mirror Lake Shadow. At the foot of Luyun Mountain, when the legend of Han Jing and Liu Yun in the rivers and lakes has not yet subsided, they receive news that a mysterious woman Yueli has appeared near Mirror Lake, who can manipulate the water surface like a mirror and reflect people's past and future in it. It is rumored that her appearance will make people lose their will in illusions and even lose their will. Han Jing and Liu Yun went to Mirror Lake to investigate, only to see that the lake's surface was like a mirror, and the moonlight was reflected in the center of the lake, but it reflected the fear of battles and defeats in the rivers and lakes. Yueli appeared on the surface of the lake, her voice whispering like water, and asked Han Jing, "Are you really fearless?" Han Jing stabilized his mind, turned the fear of the past into sword intent, and broke the illusion with the Vientian Sword Heart. He fought Yueli in the lake, the sword light refracted the water, and the illusion and reality intertwined. In the end, Yueli admitted that Han Jing's state of mind had reached the level of a true sword immortal, turning into water and dissipating, leaving behind the legend that the Mirror Lake would always be clear and transparent. Chapter 15 The Conspiracy of Black Wind Valley. Just after the Mirror Lake incident, the rivers and lakes made waves again. In the Black Wind Valley, a group of assassins calling themselves the Phantom Alliance have emerged, conspiring to control the Jianghu sects, intending to establish their own dynasty through assassination and conspiracy. Han Jing and Liu Yun received help from all parties in the rivers and lakes and infiltrated the Black Wind Valley to investigate. They encounter the leader of the alliance, Night Song, who can manipulate sounds and illusions to lead enemies into a desperate situation. Han Jing and Liu Yun were forced to separate. Liu Yun used his wisdom and mechanisms to crack the illusion trap, while Han Jing used his sword intent to hit the main body of Night Song. After a clash of wisdom and courage, Black Wind Valley was forced to disband, and order was restored to the rivers and lakes. Chapter 16 The Top of the Stars. Han Jing and Liu Yun learned that far away on the top of the Star Mountains, there was a legendary Heavenly Sword Hall, which contained a rare treasure Star Sword Crystal that could help take swordsmanship to the next level. In order to seek the ultimate swordsmanship, the two embarked on a difficult and dangerous road. In the Star Mountains, wind and snow are mixed, and giant beasts and mysterious traps are hidden between the mountains. Han Jing realized the realm of the sword moves with the heart, and the heart moves with the sky in the midst of hardships and dangers, while Liu Yun uses her extraordinary wisdom and ingenuity to guide Han Jing to avoid fatal crises. Finally, they arrived at the Heavenly Sword Hall, and Han Jing fused the Star Sword Crystal with the Vientian Sword Heart to create the Galaxy Vientian Sword, which was boundless in power and could transform countless sword shadows at the same time, controlling the subtle rhythm of light and shadow and time and space. Chapter 17 The Final Showdown of the Rivers and Lakes. When the various factions in the rivers and lakes heard the news, Han Jing had reached the extreme realm, and many forces gathered, and some people with ill intentions tried to challenge the status of the sword immortal. Han Jing and Liu Yun were invited by the Jianghu Covenant and decided to hold the final sword duel in Luyun Mountain. In the duel, Han Jing faced not only a strong opponent with swordsmanship, but also a test of psychology and belief. He used the Galaxy Vientian sword to turn the opponent's offensive into a sea of sword light, and each sword twinkled like the stars of the universe, finally resolving all challenges. Liu Yun pointed out and used light and shadow strategies so that none of the enemies could hurt Han Jing. In the end, Han Jing unified the rivers and lakes with benevolence and swordsmanship, establishing a new order in the rivers and lakes. The spirit of chivalry lies not only in strength, but also in protection and justice. Chapter 18 The Calm of Luyun Mountain. After the decisive battle, peace returned to the rivers and lakes. Han Jing and Liu Yun returned to Luyun Mountain, and the villagers and disciples below called them Luyun Sword Immortals. Han Jing sealed the Galaxy Vientian sword on the top of the mountain, leaving only the Vientian sword heart and the heart shadow to teach his disciples the swordsmanship, becoming a legend for future generations to learn. Liu Yun opened an academy to combine the wisdom of the rivers and lakes, the knowledge of strange treasures, and the martial arts of the mind, so that the disciples of the rivers and lakes no longer blindly pursue strength, but know how to act with wisdom and justice. Sequel. Han Jing and Liu Yun stood on the top of Luyun Mountain, overlooking the rivers and lakes, feeling calm in their hearts. The shadow of the sword reflects the mountains and rivers. The rivers and lakes restore order, and the spirit of chivalry is passed down from generation to generation. Whether it is the fear of Nether Valley, the thunder of Wind and Thunder City, the sword shadow of Blood Moon, or the ultimate cultivation of Star Mountains, all experiences have turned into a legend that will never wither. People in the martial arts world tell this story: the sword immortal of Luyun Mountain, his heart and sword united as one, guarding the martial arts world for eternity. Postscript Vientian Rivers and Lakes. The story under Luyun Mountain has been sung by future generations, and the deeds of Han Jing and Liu Yun have become a symbol of the spirit of the rivers and lakes. The spirit of chivalry is not only a pleasure and revenge, but also the embodiment of protection, wisdom, benevolence, and courage. Whenever night falls, there will still be sword light flashing on Luyun Mountain, like a reflection of a galaxy, reminding the people of the rivers and lakes. Chivalry always exist in the heart, all the rivers and lakes, infinite legends.